All right. I think that gets us going. I usually like to jump on Facebook and just share the live stream, so we'll do that and then we'll get fired up. T-square, T-square. There it is right there. And I thought for tonight, what we would do, this was closer to the end of our, well, this was the last day of the first week of recording. We worked on this particular story, so I'll just chat about this for a minute, and then maybe if you have anything you want to share as well before we get going. But as things get warmed up and people get in on the event, I think that first week at some point I had chatted with you and said, you mentioned that, well, when people come and talk to me, usually they come and they ask, well, how do I, or can I teach them how to pray in the language you said? And so we came back, I think a little bit later on. I'd written down in my notebook, well, let's see, Gagi Simwin, maybe there's something that, and then when we came back with tobacco to ask you, is that something you would be willing to share? And we came out with a pretty, I think you called it like a blueprint for a prayer that can be used. So I'm not going to play the whole beginning because there's about, if anybody wants to go check this out, they can go and find it on our YouTube channel, Sweetgrass Stories, a 21st Century Perspective. And Gagi Simo and the prayer is one of the last ones, or is the last video I've uploaded so far. But I wonder, Wes, if you would maybe just, or if you wanted to talk about this just for a minute before we tied into it, how people might use this and as a baseline, and then how it could be modified for different purposes, if that makes sense. Is that appropriate?
The thing about that is to understand that it's ceremony, and ceremony is about reflection and remembering, and it requires a state of peace and contentment or calm so that you can communicate, because prayer is about finishing the communication with the source of your being. Ka kisimuin, kisita, kise. Finish it. Ka kisimuin, finish the word, finish the song. It's a prayer. And so to use your voice to bring it into being, it has the effect of helping you to understand in your mind intellectually things about yourself, your ego, but at the same time, you're connecting internally through that meditational dimension, I'll say. It's not necessarily a dimension, it's a state more than a dimension. But in order to connect to the source, which is why you want to use your voice to do that through prayer, you see. Yeah, I don't know how much more clear it can be.
That's great. That's a really great start. I think there's a lot in there. For one, lots of details. And so, actually, just one question, if you'll allow. Is there like the act of praying out loud, is there, because you talk about the power of sound all of the time, and so saying it out loud, to me, it feels like there's an important part of praying is, I've heard that gagisimo, gispin gagisimo, then you'll say it out loud, and that's a part of that process. And I think you just said that right there, but it's just something I wanted to echo, I
The
guess.
finishing of the process. You see, when you give it life through sound,
Yeah.
and it's all about the process because it was born in the mind and processed through the heart. And then trying to make sense of how does it fit. And what, I mean, it just helps you to understand, I think, yeah, who you are, where you're at, where you're going. But there's so many things there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's a portal. Ceremony is a portal, a doorway to other states of being that we often refer to as dimensions.
Yeah. Yeah, miasin. Well, let's tie into this. I'm really excited to get into this. I've been working on prayer personally for my own reasons. I think, a lot of people do sometimes, and this is a real treat, I'll say, because um, I was thinking about this yesterday. Actually, not to drag this out, but I was thinking about this yesterday. It's just like, I think this is a first where not only do we have a prayer that we can share with people, but also we're going to talk about it and there'll be teachings and stuff. So I would encourage anybody who's watching along, if you've got a little bit of smudge or something, sweetgrass at home, um, fire that up as we get going here, just to sort of help you along as we tie into this. Help some of that clean that space, but also help some of that understanding sink in, I think. Um, so I've started on this a tiny bit. I'll just start and we'll go through a little bit and hopefully we can talk about some of this as we go. So, uh, for a fact, I know all these prayers start up the same way.
No, samina nipmgagisimotutin kimamahtausuin kiksewatsuin nohta.
Yeah. So I've got these transcribed already. Can I bump that up more? I'll leave it where it was.
Kapmao pinagawatistimao sawihtamawin kikapmaituistamawit kikapmpapikskuistamawit umita kapmgagisimotuttaman kimamahtausuin.
This is life goals for me to be able to, as like it's amazing how much you can get out in one breath without. I'm always like stumbling over the words, so this is amazing. So I'll do my best if it's okay. Actually, I'll maybe try to. I don't want to translate, but I'll try and interpret what's being prayed about here. So in the first frame, nota saimina nipim gagi samototiin kemamahtaus and kikisewa tsuinuta. So I'm once again, Creator, I'm praying about your benevolence and your, would you say kindness? Kikisewa tisuin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Passion.
Compassion.
Yeah.
And then harap mo open as I lift this tobacco, I guess. Bim sui tamoinan or bim sui tamoin. This word I didn't know. Bim sui tamoin. Is that like bless it for me kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just I'm gonna mark that one down because this is one of those ones they don't. By the way, if you're tuning in, if you're just following along, this where we're starting off on this prayer blueprint, as Wes calls it. There's about 8 minutes before this too. On the if you go and watch the original YouTube video, where Wes talks about the construction of the prayer leading up to this point where we're actually tying into it. So don't forget to grab that too and go and listen to that part, because there's a whole bunch of understanding in there leading up to this. And so tonight we're going to talk about some of the words in here to try and make sure that we have the correct understanding of what they are. Also, let us know where you're tuning in from. If you're just new to the live stream, let us know where you're watching from. It's always nice to hear. So pimsoi tamuin kigap my tway stamowit to speak for me, I guess you would say. Kigap papigs kwe stamowit, which would be about the same thing.
Great.
Oma omi tagapm gagi samutamat gagi samuto. Oh, this one I'm struggling. Let me listen to it again.
Kap mau penago teste mau pumsaweta mau en gigap mai twista mau et gigap papix questa mau et omita kap gagi semoto taman gimama tauswin.
Gagi samuto taman. That's what I was trying to say. What does that mean? Omita, is that like here in this place, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Okay.
At this place or time.
At this time.
Yeah.
Yes. That makes sense. Because we talked about that last week, where egota, I've always understood as a place, but it can also be a place in time, I guess, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So umita from this point. Yeah.
Kisuin.
Kisuin would be your strength, I guess.
Kasasitos kikapin sasawemia huma.
So sitos to support us, for you to support us, kigapin sasitos but how would you kigapin sasawemiak? Is that another way to say blessing, I guess, or how would you interpret that?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, not only we seek your support, but also your blessings.
Let's write that down. Your support and also your blessings. Yeah. Oh, I'm excited because there's some words in here I don't know.
Timagihto en nohta. Minagaanstamapian pipihtoa nimoso pipihtoa.
That get the magito in. I think you said before that's like hear my prayer with pity. Would you say it that way?
I would say listen to me with compassion.
Listen to me with compassion. That makes sense. Yeah. Minagaanstamapian pipihtoa nimosum. Can you I don't know if there's a way to interpret that particular Ganstamapian. Is that the one that sits with the creator, would you say, or is there an interpretation for that?
Well, there is.
We don't need to go into it here if it's not appropriate. I just we can skip over some parts if it makes sense.
There's dimensions or states, but at the highest levels, I mean, it's all about process, and in process there is always hierarchy, and in a circle there is always the one who sits first. And stamapit. You see, and that's where the decisions are made. Yeah.
Wow.
And
I
that's the one that I offer tobacco to, the one who sits first in serving creator. And there's different levels, guys. There's guys Kutewachik, Kayu Tenowachik. I mean, there's all these different kinds of spirits that exist, and they have different processes, I will say. Each have a place. And then you have the hierarchies within. Yeah. So, I mean, those are layered teachings.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's gonna get through. We got a few comments coming in here. Let's see. The Sister Bro show's back. When did you start? Am I late? We just started 5 minutes ago. You're right on time. We're just getting into this now. Christine Dance, the cadence, Claude says the cadence of prayer in Nihiuin is so different than in conversation. Dapwe. Turtles tuning in from Saskatoon. The Sister Bro show says Manowsik. Hope I'm saying that right. Colin when we nib begong. Piapot Shannon. There's some Nishnabeg here. My Nishnabeg's not very good. This is being recorded too, so if you're just tuning in, you can find, whether from Facebook or TikTok, you can find this project, Sweetgrass Stories, 21st Century Perspective, and the latest video that's been uploaded there is Gagi Simuin, and you can go and study this on your own. Yeah. Mustus Wias from Winnipeg. Yeah, Ed Ehrman. Saskatoon, I think. Right on. Okay, let's do a little bit more here. Oh, I missed one. Let me back up. Sorry, this is the one I meant to do. I asked you for this interpretation before Simatsagisagok, and I forget what you said.
I would say it's the highest dimension. It's the, if you're standing on the ground, that's the one that hits you in the top of the head. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, wow.
I'm just going
to fix the so
if are the highest dimensional ones.
And so here I would say the one seated in the highest dimension. Is that the way you would say that?
That's the meaning, yeah.
Okay. All right, next one.
And those of you who sit nearby, kisiwa kawasagame piek. Kautsapamiak. As you observe us, watch us.
I think I'm going to. Oh, I see. So Arden's been in here. That's why I was like, I didn't think I transcribed this far. So we're picking up. I'm just going to make a few corrections here. If Arden's tuning in, apologies. There's a couple things I need to tweak here. Uta kisuag. Wasagame pieg, sitting around
a circle.
In a circle? Yeah. Gap, oh, oh yeah. Gap, usapamiak.
Uhti. Kaapi muhti saapamiach is the word actually.
Say it again.
Kaap muhti saapamiach, but it's uhti saapamiach.
Utisapamiak. Interesting. I'm just gonna, yeah, that's interesting. Utisapameo. Ah, see someone in the distance. So and that's the watchers that you talked about, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Utisapamiak. Interesting.
Minuta kesua kaap muasagami pie kaap muhti saapamiach kitimagihtaonan.
Just correcting a few of the little bits here as we go.
Mina kahkio. Nemo somtig no komtig muuta kaap muhti.
Nukum tik.
Nemo somtig no komtig muuta kaap muhti saapamiach.
Same word. Tisqua.
Nemo somtig no komtig muuta kaap.
Uma, uta. And that was the same word, I'm pretty sure. Utsap gap utsapamiak.
Mm-hmm.
Utis pamiak. Okay. That's
Muuta kaap muhti saapamiach mana kaap kakanoimiach kaap.
gap kakanoemiak.
That look after us.
The ones that look after us. Yeah.
Kanoimiach kaap nantohtamopiek. And
The
those
list.
who listen to us.
Na nitu tamupiek. Let me just make sure I got the phrasing correct here.
Yeah, kaap nantohtamopiek.
Gap nantopiek. There.
Mina kasi napewasini kagip maisia kagip.
Gagip Aisiak that you told the one that told us?
You who said to us.
Said to us. Cool. Is there a translation for if you say Kisenapeosani? Would you say I saw one in the dictionary that said kind man rock, but that seems very literal.
Yeah. Mina kasi napewasini kagip maisia kagip maitoy no mo kagip mo.
Itwein omu umauta.
Mina kasi napewasini kagip maisia kagip maitoy no mo kagip mo.
Oh, that's incomplete. Itwein umuta. Oops. Yeah. Yeah. What's this next little bit here?
Mina kasi napewas ni kagip mai siya kagip mai toy no mo ta kagip mo kakstahamago siya ko hisi tsikewna.
I think gipen giskinwa ma go siak. Oh, he seats a gewen, I think I heard. Let's listen to that one more time.
Kagip mo kakstahamago siya ko hisi tsikewna.
Yeah. Yvette says, Danse. Patricia tuning in from Misquatiwaskagani. Egwai Nehio went for the soul. Tapway smudge break between homework and listening in. Miasin. Tuning in on Facebook. Tapway Miasin. I can't. Kia po yo na mio matsi hun. It's a sister bro show. That sounds like there must be a podcast or some kind of something behind this this username. Boogster. Hey, is this Elan or similar? This is a program called Keanu Transcribe. This is our project it's designed for transcribing indigenous languages, or ILR, I'll say. And so we support a handful of, well, you could transcribe anything you want with it, but we have spell check support for a few different languages now, and we have a few more languages coming right away. And Elan has a bunch of features we'd like to support that we don't yet. So we're kind of looking at, as we get requests for features, we're adding them in, or we will add them to the list as we go. I just wanted to the degree you would be willing to, I see there's an issue on that last one here. Let me look at that one more time.
Mina kasi napewas ni kagip mai siya kagip mai toy no mo ta.
And the next one was,
kagip mo kakstahamago siya ko hisi tsikewna.
If I understand that correctly, it sounds like that Medicine Rock said that the one who told us, you said when you said about these, taught us about these ceremonies, would you say, or can you speak on that at all?
Yeah, when the ceremonies were being taught to people, these are the things that were said at that time.
When the ceremonies were being taught. That makes my learner brain trying to understand all of these geese in here, but that makes sense. It's not necessarily that they were taught from the Medicine Rock specifically, but it was at the same time or when those ceremonies were given, I guess. Yeah, or there's more to this, so I'll just keep going.
Kikisewat suwin ki mama tau suwin ka nata moto tamano ma. What we are talking about here is the ancient spirit of stone. Yeah. And in the time when the ceremonies were being passed on to people, the spirit of stone explained that in all your ceremonies, when you are finishing, always offer me the pipe last. You are calling the spirits, offering the pipe to all the spirits. When you come to the end of your list for summoning the spirits, asking them to be present, ask me last, because that was the work that Creator gave me to do. that in all of your ceremonies, there might be mistakes and there will be missteps. And as the last spokesperson for you in ceremony, it is my work to correct the mistakes and to translate the meaning and intent of the prayers.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I've got a comment from Mustuswias Badi. Actually, we talked about this really briefly before, but I would love if you could talk about this again. Mustuswias says, "What does PIM mean?"
It depends on what it's attached to.
If you say, I mean, to pick it out into just one particular context, I nipimutan or no, so ninigamun nipim nigamun. Is there a meaning in difference between those, or do they generally mean the same thing?
Nikamon simply means I sing. Nipim nikamon is a term that reflects I sing in motion. I do not sing in stillness. Nipim nikamon, I am in motion as I sing.
And can that be both physical and conceptual?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones that we joke about BIM all the time in our learner group because we're just like, it's used all the time, and it's one of those ones that's difficult to put like a. It's difficult to just translate it in isolation, like just to pull it out and say this is what it means, right? And but we hear it all the time, and we're always like, what does that mean?
Trying to isolate or and give that meaning, you see, when by itself it has no meaning. It requires context, and context is best described through process.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. I'm just working on this word right now. Natamututam.
Natamototam.
Natamututam.
Natamototam. This is what you are reaching out for help with. Natamototam, and you are seeking help, reaching out, seeking help, seeking assistance, you could say.
Seeking assistance.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let's keep going.
Mahtigiam kigap maminostamaw yano manigagi simuna.
There's the part right there. I'll do the whole thing and then I'll fix it. Arden was in here, and so I have to correct a little bit of stuff, but
Mahtigiam kigap maminostamaw yano manigagi simuna gispinnan to nipmisi papatsi tigan maminostamawin.
yeah,
Mahtigiam kigap maminostamaw yano.
Kigap maminostamoyan. Say that again, sorry.
Minostamawin. Minostamawin.
And is that would be to correct something or put something in the right place, maybe?
Yeah. To place it back correctly.
Yeah. I wonder if that's in there. Mean was no, that's okay.
Mahtigiam kigap maminostamaw yano manigagi simuna gispinnan to nipmisi papatsi tigan maminostam.
Papatse siitsegaan.
Yeah. Siihtikewin refers to ceremony, right?
Yeah.
But siihtikewin is to make a mistake in ceremony.
Ah.
If I have made mistakes in ceremony, correct them for me, because that was stone spirit's work that was given to it by Creator. Kun jännitä toske on kaki tuetawa aseni, kese nape aseni. Kikap maminostajan. Ja sihtikeuna. Kispene pattahks kete pat sihtsikete patsi tuetaujak.
Neil, I missed your comment. Neil was here for our discussion on PIM. If you look it up in the dictionary, it's hilarious because it says through space and time, which like that makes sense, but it's also just such a tricky interpretation. Neil says, as I go about doing it, or I during the process of, I that makes sense to me. Isaiah, this sounds like High Cree. There is no full translations other than these old ones who hid with it. The Sister Bro Show, it says it's highly scientific, this High Cree. I think it's very articulate. I would say articulate, and there are layers of depth and meaning to this. So a word could be used just superficially to mean something, but in the context of, kitsitsige, your ceremony or your prayer or something, there are more layers of meaning to this in context, I think. And correct me if I'm wrong. We're getting some discussion here, so I'll just let that go for a bit and we'll keep going. What is that last little bit on this one?
Mamino stamawin.
Mamino stamawin.
Minwastamawin.
Minwastamawin.
Minwasta.
Ah.
Minwastamawin. Replace it correctly.
Straighten it out. Huh. So can you say minwastawil, like to straighten someone out? Would that make sense?
Well, you could say it. It just doesn't make any sense.
I deserve that.
Minagispin to ni papachituan ha. Minostama. If I have made mistakes in the words that I speak,
yeah. The Sister Brosho says the fifth dimension is time, so PIM makes sense to me. I'm glad. Yeah. Neil agrees with you. He says I'm making no sense. So we must be close to finish tonight. Ruben used to say I get 3 mistakes. If we get to 3 mistakes, then we all have to go home. Yeah. Always write ha that way. Minwastamawin.
Minwastamawin mineugo ka kikap mamion sto tamak minawista.
Go kikap tiskwa.
Ka kikap mamion sto tamak minawista.
to understand things in a good way.
To better understand.
To better understand. Kikapm. Kika. Bim. Mamio. Sorry, Arden. I'm so sorry, Arden. and stotama. But that would be us to better understand, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Minusta mauin minä kuhka kikap mamiun stohtama minä muista kohtauin no kikap
Wista kohtauino.
kohtauin no kikap mamiohta kooma.
And so that's the part where I kick up my miotak to hear it in a good way.
Mm-hmm. To hear it with pleasure.
Yeah. Sorry, I should have wrote that down. I kick up my mion stotamak to understand in a good way. Was that what you said?
Clarity. Yeah. What we're saying. And also that our Father might be pleased to hear it.
I'll say for us to understand with clarity and also the Creator to hear it with pleasure. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, if you're just tuning in, we're working on Gagi Simuin tonight. You can find this whole recording on YouTube. And I highly recommend, if you haven't listened to it, there's about an 8-minute preamble, I'll say, where Wes explains in English the pieces of the prayer and their purpose and things. And so, yeah, definitely go check that out as well, or bookmark it for later. And all right, let's do a bit more here.
Minä kisei nape waseni pe pihtoa ni mo so pe pihtoa.
Pihtoa, kisei nape waseni. Okay, there we go.
Kap pakusei mo yan kikap maminusta mau yan no makimamahta.
Kapim.
Kapim pakusei mo yan.
That which I hope for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or maybe those things that I'm hopeful for. Min wastamoyin. Okay, again.
Kap pakusei mo yan kikap maminusta mau yan no makimamahta usuin kiksewat suin kap natamo to taman.
Kikisewa disuin. What was that?
Kap natamo suin kap natamo to taman.
Kap natamu totaman. Moto taman. Just like the typings that's there is throwing me off a bit, so it's yeah, it's fine. We'll keep going.
Kohtauino että heki mama.
Kohtauino.
Kohtauino että heki mama.
This is incomplete. Higip ma.
Mamahtaw api kusian. Mamahtaw.
I'm just going to get rid of this one here because it's kind of cutting that off. So we're going to go like this. Grab that bit.
Kuhtaw inaw ita higip mamahtaw api kusian.
Mamahtaw api kusian. This is a word I don't know if I've heard before. E mamahtaw api kusian. Is that to be, it almost sounds like made to sit in a sacred space or something like that.
And that's about the space that each spirit has been designated to occupy. Itaka pihkusian, where you have been placed.
Designated for you to sit. Sit in, you said?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Api kosian. Api. I wonder if we can find a word. Sometimes it's helpful for me. Api. Let's see if we can find something similar to that. Those all have to do with braiding. Wasn't really what I was looking for. Let's try. Because I know there's api stum. No, okay. Interesting word. I think that's the first time I've heard that one. Higip mamahtaw api kosian.
Kuhtaw inaw ita higip mamahtaw api kusian. Higip.
And I have a question about itta. So in that context, kohtawi no itta Egypt mamahtaw pi kosian. Itta is the place then, specifically, yes?
Right, yeah, the location.
The location, okay. I'm just going to listen to the next little bit here. We got some more comments coming in. Isaiah says, that old man, this is Wes Fineday, by the way, I'll just say that, but I'll read out your comment. That old man you're translating is very informative to break down to an English understanding. Thank you so much for the work. I do hope to listen to this live if it's recorded. It is recorded on YouTube, so you can go back and watch this later on if you can't stick around for the whole night. Claude says, Tapwe, we are so lucky. This is amazing. Tapwe. On Facebook, Neil's commenting, Apiheo. Yeah, I looked at Apiheo, but that didn't quite look like Apiheo.
Yeah,
Oh.
Api hill would be used more in the context of Oskape Oisanihe Netau Api hill. The helper took someone and placed them at a certain spot.
Got it. Api mama tau api kosian. Go wisian. There it is. Thank you, Neil. Yeah. Sometimes I miss comments because I got managing all of this stuff here, but it's okay. We'll keep going. Let's back this one up a little bit. Not that one, this one. I think we need to bring this back, and we need to bring this one like this. Yeah, okay. Mamatau api hisk. So that's the same word. Higip mamatau api hisk.
Higip mamatau api hisk kapm.
Let me just see what the next little bit says. Yeah, okay, I'll just shift these around a little bit from how they were broken down already. Appreciate your patience. Claude says, shared this with my mom. She said she's from Saskatchewan. Oh, Yvette, so if you're coming in on TikTok, if you go to my profile, or if you're coming in on Facebook, you can find this on my Facebook page as well. There's a link in bio to my link tree, and from there you can find this Sweetgrass Stories 21st Century Perspective. That's the project we're working on tonight. My YouTube channel is the next link, Otepemsu on YouTube, and if you go there in the live tab here, you can go back and see the previous lives. So Wes has been with us. I think this is the 4th week, so you can go back and watch those previous ones too. We've been really quite fortunate here. Claudine says, just come to TikTok, Neil. I'm missing comments. I'll do better, I promise. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going here. Okay, so pull that out. Next one. Mamahtawa oma atoskewin. The sacred work, would you say? Mamahtawa must be like that. Mamahtawa oma atoskewin. I asonamaskoma. That was given to you, or passed on to you, I guess you'd say. Sonamask oma. Kikapm witsihia.
To assist us.
To assist us. Those of us who are
the people.
Those of us who are merely human. That's interesting. I seen you yak. I don't know why it wants. There we go. Okay. Oh, this word. Maue moste. Is it mamo moste hagen or mamo moste hagen?
Mamos Mostahagan.
Mostahagan.
Mostahagan. Now you've got me saying.
Well, take it out of just take it out as one little slice, and all of a sudden it's like, put it in context, it's fine in the middle of a great big line, but when it's one word, it's like, oh. Most, I'm not even actually sure how to spell this. Most gun. And I would think I was chatting with Neil. Oh, thanks, Rory. Thanks, Neil. I'll just grab yours. That works for me. Maui Mosta Hagan. I'm pretty sure I'm hearing an H in there.
Mamaumustahakan
Yeah,
is
yeah.
how. Yeah.
Is that, and the way I understand that, that's just a, is that, would you say like a general word for like a creator's helper or worker or something like that?
To the receivers of these prayers.
Oh.
You see, mamaumu would be to yell. Mamaumustahakan is the one that you speak to.
Wow.
Yeah. Mamaumustahakan. It's the one that words are directed to.
Wow. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Interesting. Oh, wow. Isaiah says, "Would you be willing to do the George Ganipate deal on YouTube in the future?" We potentially, we've got a bit to do, but we could potentially come back to that. That's definitely. I think I saw that recently too, and even that Jim Ganipate deal. I listened to some of that, and there's lots of language in there. I'm not qualified to work to interpret, so I definitely need help with some of that. Potentially down the road, we could look at some of that. Right now, we're going through the stories that, and the recordings that we have from Wes here because Wes is with us, and I think that's just wonderful. Okay, let's have another listen to this.
Minaka kyo mamaumustahakan kap miso asagame piek.
Kap isse wasagam piek, the ones sitting around in a circle.
Yeah.
Taha hate gai ha nan stonata.
Although we may not recognize you.
Say that again.
Although we may not recognize you.
Let me listen to that again.
Taha hate gai ha.
Ata, although a guy.
Taha hate gai ha nan stonata.
Not stonat.
Itimnan stonatak.
Ah. Although we may not recognize you. Interesting. I'm going to combine these. Oh.
Nan stonata gokmaga.
Na. Nisse. Tauin natagok. All of y'all. We may not recognize all of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Kikap kita magi tau ya ako makio au ko tawa ina kiseman tu.
Kita magi tau yak.
Kikap kita magi tau ya ako makio au ko tawa ina kiseman tu.
Can you? This is one of those ones where you said, like, I know the word egitamagi toiak, like you hear us with compassion or pity, I guess you'd say. But in this context, I don't quite understand because you said here you address them, the ones that we call to for help, I guess. Mamo mostahaganak, the ones sitting around. Although we may not recognize all of you, would you say nonetheless for you to hear our prayers with compassion or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's the kika, which I understand. For you to hear our prayers with compassion, I guess that's how it makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Omakiwao. Oh, there's more to this. Let me go a little bit further because this is where Arden left off, I think.
We're
there again. Okay. I see. Okay. Kikapmamio. No, that's not. It's not that. It's this. Kikapmamiotak. Oh, here. Nitasi tsigeunnana.
Kikapmamiuhtinikiak.
Did I just hear that wrong?
I don't know.
Let me play it again.
Sound
like a kikapmamiotak.
Yeah. To enjoy listening to.
To enjoy. Okay.
Or to enjoy hearing?
Yeah, we're talking about kisemantu again in this context, yeah. Because you said, yeah, that makes sense. That's the part I was confused about from the last one, because you said, even though we may not recognize all of you, so yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because intent of that is that all those spirits have names. But if I have not spoken all their names, and I have not recognized all of them, but it is not with disrespect.
That makes sense. Yeah. There's so much. It's like, wow. Yeah, that's great. It's all of those, because I just, for me, there's so many of these things I've heard, maybe you explain, or I've heard other elders, or even I'll say, ceremonial people, like, explain these things over time, but to actually be able to sit down and get into some of these details, just like filling in so many pieces, it just makes so much sense. There's more to this. Let me play it again. Kiega Utingiak Egutta Kakwe Kweaske Kakwe, I think I heard.
Attempting to do things properly.
Oh, Tisqua, my puzzle. Okay. Kakwe Pim Tutama.
Kuyaski kako ipn tuutama ipmisikaskaski hoja.
As we are able.
Ah. So could you say, as we attempt to do things properly? Would that make sense?
Well, as we are able, yeah, as we attempt to do things in a proper way.
Wow. So cool. Neil says, oh, Tansi Brandon. Miyasan uma. Tagusinian. Neil says, learning this type of higher career prayer languages, it's like a language of its own, different than everyday speech. Yeah, makes sense to me. Well, and that's interesting because there are different, even through the process of listening to, I've thought about this, that specific thing quite a bit, because there's conversational language, the way that we talk to each other, and then if you get into stories, even in the very beginning, Wes, you talked about that. What kind of stories are we telling? Are these just simple stories? Are they, Mama Tawa Tsamona, I forget how you said that. Like, there were different levels of speaking almost that you were referring to. And it's interesting to think about that as a language learner, because there'll be some areas I find in my language journey where I'll hear a story and I'll understand quite a bit or almost everything, but then I might hear another story and not really understand very much, because it's almost like if you're speaking at a different level, then it's a different level of understanding required, I guess, if that makes sense. Yeah, so interesting. Let's keep going here. Let's grab a little bit more than that.
Kagagi simuya kita homa.
Kapngagi simuyak.
I'll be back.
Okay. We'll just do our best in your absence here.
Just make it up as you go along.
that would just be normal then. Ken says, when we pray, who do we pray to, or what name do we use? In this case, well, there's two names here that Wes has used. So the first one, starting out at the beginning of the prayer, Nohta, or Kohtawi no, I've heard, but also Kisemantu, that's another one that I've heard, or that's also used in this. I've heard some people, depending on the prayer, I've heard people use Nohtawi nan, which would maybe be more of an invocation, or Kohtawi no, and for me those mean the same thing but are used in slightly different contexts, because one would be if you were addressing Nohtawi nan. You wouldn't say Kohtawi no, because, or maybe you would, I don't know. But Kisemantu, Kohtawi no, and then there's other spirits or entities being addressed in this as well. Yeah, Nohtawi nan Kisemantu. It's sort of like, yeah, you got lots of options there. And I've heard different people pray in different ways that way, I guess.
Kagagi simuya kita homa. Kikap mo ngit na mo ipugoni nan magaka.
Gate. There's an H there.
Kagagi simuya kita homa. Kikap mo ngit na mo ipugoni nan magaka.
Not just for us. It's that last little tiny bit.
Moi pukoninan magakahkiyo.
Well, but for everybody.
Pukoninan magakahkiyo.
Nia nan. Let me just listen to that whole thing one more time and make sure I have it all. In English, I guess you could say Our Father, but I don't hear people say that. Usually I hear Creator. People say Creator in English. Yeah, and I don't think it's a Christian thing. Yeah, because it's like, for us, like, because a ski is a Ningawinan, right? The earth. There's like that balance there, right? Yeah. Neil says, Kohtawino is used in speech for others, but not directly in prayer. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah. So when I hear Nohta or Nohtawinan, Kohtawino, like it doesn't make sense in the same way that, that Christian way of thinking about, that Christian our Father or something like that. It's not quite the same for me anyway. Doesn't mean the same thing. All right, let's do a little bit more. So this one here, kapmgagi simuya kita homa. What did he say before? Yeah, attempting to do things as we're able. From where we pray, to receive, not just, or to take from there, not just for ourselves, but for everyone, I guess. Let's go a little bit more, because I think there's more to this, maybe.
Okay.
Let's put that one in that same chunk. Kahkyo oge. Holy. If Neil was here, I'd give him this one. Look at that.
Kita toskahaga naknigawinan na ski.
See, and he says it right there. Kita toskahaganak ningawinan ski.
Kita toskahaga naknigawinan na ski kap might.
Oh yeah, there's another one. Yeah, Mamu Tawi Mao. Yeah, that makes sense. Got the Pizza Gate. There's another one. The one who governs all things. Maybe you could think of it that way. Oh, Wes is. Oh no, I'm Wes. I got too many things going on. I thought Wes was back for a sec. It's like, oh, get nervous again. Let's drag that there.
Ski kap might go sit me nagap.
Kap might go sit. It go sit. Yeah. Grab a little bit more here. I'll grab these, write this out, and then we'll play the whole thing and listen to it in kind of one chunk here. That's an interesting. You didn't it. No, it'd have to be like that. Oh, mina ka.
Nanipiwa tayo kanot mi.
Nipiwa tayo kan. Nit. Let's listen to the rest of that.
Minagap nanipiwa tayo kanot minagap
Ganuit. Yeah.
minagap nanipiwa tayo
And he reduplicated that nanipi.
minagap nanipiwa tayo kanot minagap mais koteo yan.
Iskoteoian. So there's an interesting process here. Isaiah, just 1 second, we'll talk about this.
Minagap nanipiwa tayo kanot minagap mais koteo yan pepi tuak.
Okay. Okay. There's a B-dwag. I'm going to listen to the whole thing through and make sure I have everything, and then we'll talk about it.
Kita tos kahaga naknigawi na naskikap may tego sit minagap yayo tenu to awak minagap nanipiwa tayo kanot
Tiskwa, there's one more piece in there I'm missing. Let me back it up.
minagap yayo tenu to awak
No, back further. Sorry.
naknigawi na naskikap may tego sit minagap yayo tenu to awak minagap nanipiwa tayo kanot
Awamina, awa.
naskikap may tego sit minagap yayo tenu to awak minagap nanipiwa tayo kanot minagap mais koteo yan pepi tuak.
I think that's it.
Pepi.
So basically, kita tos kahagan, we're saying so this is addressing the Creator specifically, saying your workers, your workers, your helpers, maybe I guess you'd say. Nagawi na naski, our Earth Mother, maybe you could say, and that's makes sense why in that specific context. Nagawi nan makes sense because if you were speaking to the Creator, you wouldn't say kigawi no, because this wouldn't make sense. Gap mai go sit the one go sit. I want to say like, go ahead.
As she is called.
Yeah, but there's a connotation there with it's not just gapm aitagut, right? Like it's not just like called by somebody. It's a sacred name, right?
Yeah, what she is referred to as.
Yeah. And then gapm yayu dinuit.
Mm-hmm.
The one who is the wind, could you say it that way?
Yeah.
Awamina gapm na ni piwa tayo ganuit.
Mipiwa tayo ganuit. The water spirit.
The water spirit. I was just going to ask you about that. It's a very descriptive term. Minaga iskoteuin, and that's addressing the sacred fire directly. Then I would.
Yeah, the fire spirit, spirit of fire, the soul of fire.
Yeah, awesome.
Pepi tuak ni mo sumtik no komtik.
Musumtik no kumtik. Come and smoke. My grandfathers and my grandmothers, I guess you'd say.
Sitos ko enan sawe menano mi.
Sitos koenan. Sawe menan. I think we've talked about these a little bit. There's a good degree of repetition in prayer sometimes. Can I ask, is that intentional? That certain things are repeated that way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, if I start repeating myself, it's because I've run out of Cree words.
Ki sito sko enan sawe menano mi tahka gagagi simoto taman giksewat.
Yeah. Omita again. Gagisimo tutaman. I what this where I pray about. What this one.
Your benevolence.
Your benevolence.
Yeah.
Gagagi simoto taman giksewat suno kap nanas.
Oh, all of y'all's benevolence.
Mm-hmm.
Taman giksewat suno kap nanas kumayan managap.
That I am grateful for, you would say?
Mm-hmm.
Taman giksewat suno kap nanas kumayan managap kaktimagi tau ya kuma.
Gitmagi tauyak.
But I give thanks for your listening with benevolence, compassion.
Benevolence and compassion. All right. Gitmagi tauyak. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm just going to listen to this whole chunk one more time. Comment from... Oh, I see, Neil. I see what you're talking about. Pray to your compassion, not about your compassion. Yeah, that makes sense. There's a lot of big words in this sometimes.
Yeah, because prayer is an appeal to your compassion, eh?
Yeah, Isaiah says, no, it's like continuously as it means multiple meanings, tone, and frames of connotation. Can you clarify that comment, Isaiah? I don't 100% know what you're getting after. If I missed context from earlier on or something, yeah, if you could just clarify that, and we'll see what we can do with it. All right, let me listen to this whole thing and make sure I got everything.
Ki sito sko enan sawe menano mi tahka gagagi simoto taman giksewat suno kap nanas kumayan managap kaktimagi tau ya kuma.
Oma at the end. Yeah.
Mayoma nagap nata mototamah kap.
Mayomana. As soon as.
Yeah.
Mayoma nagap nata mototamah.
As soon as we
seek
it out, yeah. Oh, Isaiah's asking about the tone. That's interesting. I wonder about this too. Wes, can you speak on that? Like, see, when I think of Gagi Simuan, I think specifically of praying in this way, but is there something to be said about the tone, the way that you maintain a specific tone, or during the prayer, like during the recitation of the prayer? Is there anything about that you can speak on?
Well, just that I let it flow in the way that it wants to come out, you know. I mean, it's your soul speaking to your mind and heart.
Yeah. And there's just something really captivating about listening to someone pray in that way. And whenever I hear somebody pray in a ceremonial way, it's like specifically in this way. And maybe that's why I think that's what's for me, it's what's so meaningful about working on this right now and being able to share this is like so many people desire to understand this type of prayer for themselves in their own lives. So, because if I just pray in, I don't want to say that you can't pray in English because you can, and I have, but when I pray in the language, it just has a different feeling to it. And specifically when I pray in this style, it just has a different feeling to it, I'll say. Isaiah says, as I was always told by my great-grandfather, always said it was a soft language. Yeah, I would say like the kindness is built into the language, in my opinion. It's a gentle and kind language. Claude says, I noticed two prayers are so different. When people pray, it's almost like they're crying. But then, you know what Wes said earlier, it's like a song almost. Yeah. Spine-tingling way. I would agree. Okay, there's a little bit more to this. Let me get back to it. Wawihtak, as it's been prepared.
Wawihtak, when we name you.
Oh, I see. I heard that. This is one of those words that sounds like something else. Wawihtak, that makes sense. Oma nitisi tsikeu winnana. All right. Egota kekapta tago
Tawiyak. Egota kapim tatago tawiyak.
How would you tagohtawiyak? How would you interpret? Like, how would you translate that or interpret that?
When you arrive where we are.
Huh.
You know, when you arrive kapetagohtawi and you arrive where I am. In that context of the prayer, though, as soon as we name you, you arrive at the place where we are summoning you from, calling you from.
Layers. Those are the layers I was just talking about a minute ago. Those layers of meaning, because I'm like, oh, okay, whoa. That just unlocked a couple of words for me there. Let me listen to this. Oh, there's a little bit more at the end here, Chisqua. From where you were listening, would you say that at the end there?
Yeah, when you are named and you arrive, right? You arrive right away. Semak mana kapetagohtawiyak. When we call you, you come right away. Yeah.
Oh, say mak. I missed that. Okay, let me listen to the whole thing and see if I can hear it in there.
Mayoma nagapna tamo totama kapmawi taho manitsi tigeo na nahasay manek takapn tatago ya ko makapenan to tamo piek.
Saimana, I didn't say Semak, but
Asaimana.
yeah.
Once again to arrive there.
Mm-hmm.
Those of you listening, I guess you'd say. And the watchers.
Mm-hmm.
Otisapamiak. Let's check on the time here. We're going to go for about 15 more minutes. Tonight, I was catching up on some comments. Oh, yeah, there's all kinds of discussion going on here. Claudine says, finally something I understand. Just kidding, she says. Neil says, that's why they call it Maumostige when prayer. It's like you were pleading your case in a humble tone, he says. Mayo meaning as soon as. Oh, yeah, as soon as. Yeah, that makes sense. And on TikTok, I think we covered some of that. Isaiah asked, to smudge on our behalf spirits here and there, like a shaking once. Oh, this is in relation to your earlier question, yeah? I might need, sorry, I think I lost the thread on that one, Isaiah. I might need a little bit more context. Yeah. Next chunk. Oh, the last text. That one is the Gawotsapamiak, the ones, y'all that are watching us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the watchers, I think, Wes, you've called them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cheryl from Regina, Saskatchewan, tuning in on YouTube. By the way, if you're just tuning in, if you're on YouTube, you already know where to find this. But if you're on Facebook or TikTok, you could find the stories we've recorded with Wes. Click on the link in my bio or my Facebook profile. It'll take you to this Linktree page. You could find Sweetgrass Stories 21st Century Perspective. And we're working on Gagi Simuin, which is the latest video that's been uploaded there. But also all of these live streams go to my YouTube channel, which is the second link. And you can go back and check out previous lives on the live tab there. And this is the fourth live stream that Wes has joined us for, which is amazing, absolutely amazing. So if you don't have time to stick around, you can always go back and catch the recording on YouTube. All right, let's do a little bit more before we wrap up here. Pasegunamik. It's a long O on that. To lift up, for y'all to lift up our ceremonies, would you say that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah. That same word. I'm going to grab a little bit more, the next bit anyway here. For the Creator to see it in a good way or in a pleasing way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, awesome. I'll just play that whole thing one more time to make sure I've got it all.
Kikap papasiguna mego hinitsi tigeuna na kikap mamio ta kikap mamio pa ta ko tawino.
Kohtauino. All right. I think we can squeeze a couple more in here.
Eksu me misagagi simoto tamano magiksewat sono au ke mamahtao sono au. Eksu me misagagi simoto tamano
I think you said isse.
eksu me misagagi
Yeah. Segagi semototaman.
simoto tamano magiksewat sono.
Gigisewatisuinuau. Y'all's compassion.
Magiksewat sono au ke mamahtao sono au.
How would you, I don't know if I asked you this already, how would you trans or interpret that word mamahtausuin? Sacredness?
That's one way to describe it, yeah. But usually it's in levels in terms of development, eh?
Hmm.
Or aspects like, I mean, kimamahtausuin. Your benevolence and kindness is what I'm praying for, or which is I am speaking to your heart.
So it's almost like those go together. Those two terms go together to sort of encapsulate that concept. Kikisewat sinuau kimamahtau sunuau.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. Isaiah says CC Guan, the KH sounds like Guan. Could that be quickly translated before the end? I don't know. What does that word mean?
Sisikuan.
That's what I thought it was at first. CC Guan, but it sounds like CC Go. Yeah, CC Guan, which is I understand that's a rattle. CC Guan. Yeah.
Sisikweu is a rattler, a snake. You see. Sisikweu and a rattle is Sisikuan.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know if there's a root CC. Well, let's look it up. See what else has that. CC Guan rattle CC Guanis. CC Guasis little rattlesnake. So I don't think CC is the root in there, because then it might imply that there was a relationship between CC gun, C seep, and like duck and snake and hail. Maybe. I mean, the language is complicated, so it's hard to say. CC go, a dog that's whining. I think it's CC. If I had to take a guess, the CCKW is probably the root of that. CC. That's just my guess, though. I'm not a linguist, so I can't say for sure. Yeah. let's do a little bit more. We've got a few minutes. I think we had about 5 more minutes left here before we wrap up tonight.
Kitimagihtoik gomagap misen totamatagok. Kitimagihtoik gomagap misen totamatagok.
Isi
gomagap misen totamatagok.
Nitotam. I think I have that right. I hope.
Kitimagihtoik gomagap misen totamatagok.
Gap missing totamatagok as I listen to you. No, do I have that right?
Misen totamatagok as I have requested.
Oh. Nitota, not nitota.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, nitotam. Asked as I have requested. Nitotam. I wonder if it's in there. Yeah, there it is. Okay, that's weird. I wonder why it's not. Kapmissi nitotamatagok. Yeah, I'll just leave that one for now. As I have requested. All right.
Hai kap maituan. Hai kap maitaman giksewat sunwa.
Hai kap
Hai kap maituan. Hai.
There's an I in there. Kap maitoyan.
Hai kap maituan. Hai kap maitaman giksewat.
Disuin, I'm guessing, is where that's going.
Taman giksewat sunwa. Gimamahtaw sunwa.
Wow. Gimama. Okay. I have a question. Actually, you didn't say this here, but in another, I think, prayer somewhere, what would be the difference between gap mai itwean or gap mai itweutaman? Those would be very similar, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Different pipelines.
Okay.
Kitimagihtoik.
Gonna include that one in on the end there. I think we can probably get one more. Yeah, we'll get this one in here and see if we can get that far.
And from there.
Oh, here we are. We're at the end of the prayer. We did the whole thing. Actually, the reason there's more recording there, so that's probably a great place to.
There.
It's probably a great place to stop tonight.
And
because actually later on in the recording, I believe you start praying again. So what I'll do is we'll leave it there tonight, and then I'll go find the part where you start praying again for next week, and we can tie into that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty good. So let me go back here. 8.5. That's pretty good. 4 minutes, which is pretty much on par for how we've been doing. Oh, get caught up on some of our comments. Colin says Shishi Guan is also rattle and Shishigwe rattlesnake and Inisha Bemun. Isaiah, it goes to some of the YouTube word. I heard a lot of that word, CC. Neil has a question. Question for Wes if he's willing to answer. When did you start hearing or using ai hai? There's been some discussion about this on in different groups lately. So is that something you've always heard, or is that something new?
Oh, it's something I've always heard. But I've been to lots of ceremonies. So.
Yeah. Well, even back to your parents and your grandparents, was that something they would have said?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Muskeg tea with CG every Sunday, and we fire up about 7 o'clock Mountain, roughly. 7 o'clock Mountain, 6 o'clock Pacific. I think it's also 7 o'clock in Saskatchewan. I think they're on the same time now. Usually Sunday nights about that time. About 6 o'clock Pacific, and we usually go for about 2 hours if we can make it that far. So if you're just tuning in, let us know where you're tuning in from, and don't forget to hit the link in bio. You can find these stories on YouTube under the project Sweetgrass Stories, a 21st Century Perspective, and also you can find these live streams if you're just tuning in late. If you go to my YouTube channel, that's the second link in my bio, you can find the recordings of these. Colin asked, did Wes know my name giver late Ernest Tutusis?
E.T.?
E.T.?
Kamiwasik.
Yeah.
His name.
Huh. Muskeg Tea with CG tuning in from Treaty 6 territory. Isaiah, Saddle Lake. Neil says, wow, Aaron and Wes, this was an amazing session. He says, I've learned more tonight than my 3 years of university. Uh-oh. Don't tell the university that.
I was just thinking of signing up.
Yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, I've heard this word. Ken says, I asked my Muslim what thank you was, and he said, Winahkumau. Winahkumau. I just heard this word the other day too. I don't know if I've ever heard that before.
That would be the Bush version of Winanaskumau.
Ah. Wow.
That's a more ancient form of that.
Huh.
Nakumau.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Winahkumau. Yeah, very cool. Isaiah says this was more in depth than the school creed they teach and what my late grandparents spoke. Yes, we're very blessed to have Wes with us tonight and to have these stories to work on in this prayer. Wes for joining us tonight and sharing this knowledge with us. It's been really wonderful. We're going to wrap it up there tonight, and we hope to see you again next week. Thanks for tuning in. Kakio kitam skat nawao mio tipskansik. And Muestas go up wapam tinawa. We'll catch you all later on. Okay, have a good night.